So hi, good morning, everyone. How are you? I hope you're having a great day. Such a great lineup that we have today. My name is Junior Gonzalez. I'm a strategy lead at Imagination, and I last spoke here. Well, not here. It was in Crown Plaza last time, in 2023, and quite a bit has changed since then. And today I wanted to speak about this brave new world that we seem to be entering as we get more AI tools into our daily life and our work. So first of all, I wanted to touch quickly on the title of this session. So obviously it's based on Brave New World, a masterpiece by Aldous Huxley, published in 1832. He presents a story in which the world is perfect. There's no issues. People are even mass-produced. People are not even born anymore. But there are some people that are born with all the elements of humanity. They fall in love, they get disease, they die as well. However, some people are not natural anymore in the world, but there's this character called John the Savage. He is a natural born in the world. And he's told that when he goes outside into the real world, he's gonna get hurt and it's gonna be very uncomfortable. But he says he doesn't wanna feel comfort. He wants God, and he wants poetry and danger and freedom and goodness and sin. And I see copywriters and designers kind of like a John the Savage, that everyone's whispering to them, use AI, and they're holding steadfast saying, no, I wanna do it my way. So an interesting couple stats, according to the Interactive Advertising Bureau, 40% of all ads will use some kind of AI enhancement by 2026. And around 90% of advertisers, meaning all of us here in the room, will use AI tools to create videos by 2026. So on average, around half of the things that you'll see on print and in media will have some kind of AI tool used in its production. But is this really genuinely new? Is this a new way to use technology and to focus our attention and the tools that we have at our disposal? I don't think so. So I'd like to present a few cases on why we've actually been living in this brave new artificial world for quite a while, maybe even longer than you think. So I think it's fair to say that by the mid-2010s, everyone was using Netflix and watching what Netflix recommended. It didn't feel as personalized as it does today. So it was in this sweet spot in which you could still see things that didn't adapt directly to your viewing habits. However, the algorithm has gotten better and better and better. And whereas before it was creating content for large audiences, like on TV broadcast in the old days, now it's creating content for hyper-specific audiences and niche markets, and they can afford so. It's a model that's self-reinforcing as well, so they create content for more niche markets, and the audiences get more specific, and so on and so forth. So what about audio, for instance? Spotify in the late 2000s. Back in the day, we used to get these random hits and recommendations, even new drops, because it wasn't as sophisticated as it was today, right? It was like the old school radio that you had to kind of turn it around and say, this is not what I listen to. So you got these random things. However, it's gotten more and more sophisticated, maybe bordering on too good. And now, as I'm sure you're all aware, it's very easy to create AI music. It's very easy to create AI content. There are entire artists and bands and playlists that are completely AI generated. So going off the deep end of making it so personal, I think that's what makes us fear a little bit for our jobs, fear a little bit for creativity and originality. And we can go back into the past a little bit more as well. So in a weird way, things like autocorrect and spell check, they were kind of like the ChatGPT of the 90s in some way. So they would correct your words as they were coming through. They will help make your writing cleaner, more understandable, and better. And I don't think that anyone today would say, yeah, making spell check and autocorrect a thing was a mistake. The issue is that when we use things like Netflix and Spotify and ChatGPT, it's a matter of degree. The more helpful a technology gets, the more reliable and dependent we become on them. And I see it as a kind of a spectrum or a dial that, the more accurate a service or a product is, the stranger it becomes to use it, the more reliable we become on them. So we go from something harmless, like spell check, that we go, this is super useful, to recommending media. I know so well, so it recommends music, books, film, YouTube videos. It's getting to know us more broadly and more specifically, to completely curated content. It's getting to know us even better now. Exactly what we want, how we want it, when we want it, why we want it as well. engineering to fit our tastes, then into AI-generated content. So now it's not curating anymore, it's creating the content that we like and love, right? Based on our tastes and our wants and our dislikes. So that's where we are today, and after this is kind of a guessing game, what happens next. But what happens when we go into AI models and agents, talking to AI models and agents? What are we doing at this stage? And then what happens when AGI gets brought into the mix, artificial general intelligence? What are humans doing then at that stage? So we go from humans doing almost everything and AI helping a little bit, to humans doing almost nothing, and AI and AGI doing pretty much everything. So right now it kind of feels like the machines are entering the creative workforce in a way, and there's a few transitions that I think are worth looking into, from curated to created, from crafted to generated, and from studied to analyzed. So I'll give you 3 quick examples. When I say that the machines are entering the workforce, the creative workforce specifically, think about it like this. So a few years ago, if you wanted to share music with someone, you needed to have a few things, either a CD or a cassette. You needed to find music to put on it or produce it yourself. You had to have a machine that could transfer songs into it. You have to think of the lyrics, the theme of the songs if you're doing it yourself, the music, the harmonies, the instruments, the theme of the whole CD itself, what to call the CD as well. And if you were quite artistic, you would even design the cover of the CD itself. Now, we've gone into a world in which, with just a few prompts, you can generate years of studio quality music in minutes. So it's a thing that is not about the end result. It's about the effort, the human imagination that you put into it beforehand. Another example, this is more artistic. So this painting here on the right side of your screens was done by Mark Rothko. He's an American abstract painter, probably the most known worldwide. And his pieces, after he passed away, acquired this almost mythological sense to them. They were usually the most expensive piece that was sold in any auction. This piece right here, called Orange, Red, Yellow, was sold by almost $90 million, almost a decade ago. Compare it to the one that I did about 2 hours ago in ChatGPT. Took about 40 seconds. So here we see that it's not only about the end result, it's about the lore behind the art, behind the creativity, the myth, the stories, the wealth of knowledge that went behind it. And by the way, they're flipped. The one that ChatGPT I told you did was actually the Rothko, and the one that was the Rothko was the one that ChatGPT did. So it's very easy to get confused in this brave new artificial world. And if you think this only affects music and artists and art and advertising, no, it doesn't. It applies across the whole spectrum. So let's take medicine as an example. If you think about how modern medicine operates today, it's kind of like a decision tree. So you go to a doctor, you tell them, I have this element, and then the doctor starts asking you a series of questions, trying to find out what's wrong with you, right? The thing is, it doesn't matter how well trained a doctor, a lawyer, a consultant, a policymaker is, they will never have the capacity that AI has of sifting through millions of data points in seconds, having an infinite memory, speaking every single language, and maybe most importantly, never gets tired, and it never says no, as long as you prompt it. For instance, Microsoft has launched an AI system that is 4 times more accurate at diagnosing than human doctors, which is a term now, 4 times. So what do we do now? Do we just give up, stop working, go home? Do we start being afraid of machines and everything AI? Not quite, at least not for some time. Basically, 2 very big things still need to happen. The first one is that we have to solve the alignment problem. And the alignment problem in ethical AI is an issue that says there are aligned and misaligned problems. Aligned AI systems are ones that follow exactly what we want them to follow, usually aligned with the betterment of humanity. Misaligned systems means that they pursue unintended objectives. So every time that you use AI or ChatGPT or Midjourney to generate an image, and you get 10 tries, 20 tries on it, and it's actually getting farther away from what you wanted at the beginning, that's a misaligned system. And this happens across creativity, philosophy, medicine, any realm of knowledge. And the second one is that at one point, someone somewhere will develop AGI, artificial general intelligence. And when this happens, it's gonna blow the doors open on everything with work and knowledge. Because right now, we can go into the hood, let's say under the hood of ChatGPT and Midjourney and Gemini and any software, like that, any LLM, and we can see where it went wrong, if it went wrong. With AGI, we're not gonna be able to do that because it's gonna be its own kind of intelligence, different from ours, but equally unique. So I wanted to wrap up my session with 3 strategies that we use at Imagination, my agency, and I use personally, so that our brains don't shrink from AI usage, the work that you generate is still quite unique, and our creative muscles become stronger. So the first thing is that AI is still not great with certainty. So it has this weird relationship with us in that it's able to speak like a PhD graduate, but then it's not able to solve issues that a 5-year-old would have no issue solving. So this happens because it's not thinking like us. At least not yet. It's not the same type of intelligence. And there's a few reasons why I think we still need us in the room. The first one being, we still know what the truth is. We know how to qualify a good news source from a bad one. We know when something that seems impossible probably is, and we're able to dig deeper into it, and we're not trusting the internet. The second one is that ChatGPT gets confused, and unless you prompt it, it kind of leaves it at that. If we don't know something about something, that drives it crazy at night. We need to find out what the answer to this question is. And that's a drive that's precious, and it's something that ChatGPT and this kind of LLM still not have. And the third thing, maybe most importantly, we know the internet lies very often. We know anyone can upload anything into the internet. However, we don't have to believe it, because we know a good source from a bad one, and we know when something is fake. AI has absolutely no choice but to trust it, because it's usually the only source of knowledge that it has. The second thing, and this is something that I think most agencies and most brands are not doing, is training your AI models to be better. So we're all using the same version of ChatGPT and Gemini and Midjourney as everyone else is using. That's why when you see AI work that you know it's AI being written or image, it feels kind of the same. It's the so-called AI slop. And here's why we still need us. The first thing is that we know what good content looks like. We know what good copywriting reads like. We know what good visuals look like. We know how a good tagline hits when it's really, really good. The second one is that you have values as an agency. You have principles. You have tenets that you follow and you imbue in every one of your employees. Try to imbue them into AI models as well. You can train them to look for them because it works on reward-based systems. So every time it gets closer to something that mirrors how your agency or brand behaves, reward it for it as well. And the last thing, and I don't know if there are any HR managers in the room, but we need talent and good talent now more than ever, because the better your staff is, the more creative, unique, and powerful your employees are, the better your AI models are going to be, because they're the ones training them. So never stop hiring for good talent. And the last thing, maybe the most important one, AI still cannot be in the room with us. So it cannot pick on the invisible cues that we've evolved to pick up. So it cannot understand when somebody's losing interest in a topic, because it's not thinking like us, it's not reacting like us. So the first thing is that we just know that a comment in a meeting can change the tone immediately, even if it's the right one or the wrong one. We can even feel it over video. We can even smell it on the air. There's research that backs this up. We're built to detect this. The second one is that we are aware of the subtext immediately, be it cultural, sensitivity-wise. We know when AI gets something very wrong, specifically about our culture, because we go, that's not how it was when I was a kid. That would never fly in my country. So you're very, very aware of your own culture. So these nuances are not something that AI has yet. And the third one is that we're still affected by things like sights and scents and sounds, things that AI would maybe call bugs. But I think they're not bugs or mistakes at all. They're the things that make us human. They're the things that makes us who we are. Before I wrap up and open for a Q&A, if you guys have any questions about this, I wanted to leave you with one last thought. The pencil replaced the quill, but it didn't quite kill the writer. The keyboard replaced the typewriter, still couldn't kill the writer. The language model replaced autocorrect, still didn't kill the writer. Be it in the industrial, artificial, or virtual era, imagination never truly dies. It just changes forms and formats and formula. And be it on the inside of a cave 1,000,000 years ago, or etched on the side of Mars, millions of years into the future, it's on us to keep it alive and to keep it human. Thank you. So now I'm opening the floor up for questions, if you guys have any. Got about 4 minutes left. Yep.
Just wondering, it was fascinating, thank you. How do you expect audiences to react with a lot of products that they perhaps know have been created or designed for them using AI? And how do you think agencies will respond to that?
It's a really good question. It's something that we debate a lot internally in my own agency. So I think it's going to be something similar to what happened in products when they started introducing light products and saying that they were trans fat free or they were gluten free or something. There's going to be the label that says AI free creativity, AI free thinking, and that's maybe at the agency level. I think on the consumer level, there's going to be an extra tax that comes on non-AI work because it was not made quickly by AI. It was made, maybe not perfectly, but painstakingly. So I think in a weird way, we're going to see a kind of comeback of handcrafting and just, really thought out and really slow-cooked creativity and originality and kind of results as AI becomes more and more kind of ubiquitous across everything.
Well, and also based on that, the value of human work versus machine work is surely going to become a higher valued commodity. So it'll be interesting to see how that reflects in things like, rate cards. So we're going to have an AI rate card versus a human rate card, or, just thinking out loud here, but, it'll be really interesting to see in years to come how that trickles down the value chain.
Yeah, it's a super interesting point, and depending on how ethical you are as an agency, are you charging the same as you were before, even though you're using AI into every single output that you have? How do you square that circle? Because it's very strange. It feels strange, at least to us at Imagination, to charge a client when everything that we're doing is like AI produced or AI engineered or something like that. It definitely helps in certain things, but there's still quality that's not transferable with AI just quite yet. That's why things like AGI or ASI, artificial superintelligence, may just open the doors and break them, in ways that we're not expecting. So.
Well, assumably as well, you've got more senior level creatives working on generating that question into the AI as well. So creative directors, creative strategies, there'll still be a grand need for those people that are at a senior level, perhaps making sure that they ask the right questions to generate the AI responses as well.
1,000%. And I think this may be a bit controversial, but I think it's really on clients as well to kind of be steadfast and make sure that we don't fall into the comfort of AI slop. So I'll give you an example. If you do a deck for a client, like we've all done thousands and millions of decks, and you send it to a client, and you know in your heart that when they send the feedback, that's not their feedback. That's feedback that they use some AI tool to give you. That still kind of defeats the purpose of you trying to do everything kind of not by hand, but by the equivalent of by hand creatively. So it's both on the agencies, but also on the clients and brands to set fast and make sure that creativity remains original, that imagination remains human as well. I don't know if we have time. Yeah, one more question.
So you're confident enough that AI is going to remain the co-pilot and the sous chef, or would it grow to become the leader and we serve?
That's a really, really good and really controversial question. There was an Eastern Europe government, I don't know if it was Bulgaria, one of them, that introduced an AI minister. and then people were throwing stuff at them in the Hall of Congress because that's insane. How you're going to have a government part of AI making decisions for real people. So I think it will really depend on what you consider leadership to be. If you consider leadership to be just reading data points and then making decisions based on that, I think we have absolutely no shot because we are never going to be better than AI at it because of how fast it's moving. Now, if you think that leadership has some intangible value, some intangible things about it that you cannot quantify, that you cannot put into a machine, you cannot make an Excel sheet out of it, I think we are going to remain with our hands on the hold. Otherwise, I see it very difficult that AI is not going to take over in that specific way. That's a great question. Thank you. Yep. Okay, no more questions. Now, thank you guys so much for your attention. And yeah, that's my time. So thank you.